They have spent the time practicing and boot camping in Cologne, to be exact, and have taken a forfeit loss 2 on the season. A pretty rough start, no matter how you shape it up. I think the more interesting aspect of this is tomorrow and what happens there. But we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. Instead, now we're going to be taking a look at a little bit of Rogue and NRG. That's going to be our last 2 maps of the night. We're going to see them square off on 2. And guys, within these 2 teams, I would love to get your brutally honest opinion. Where do we start, Pim?
I mean, we have a team that is a prospect for a top 6 placement, and then I think we have a team who's fighting to avoid relegation. So that's like setting up the lines and the ambition for these 2 teams. Obviously, NRG is the top 6 prospect. You had them in your top 6 for the predictions. And Rogue, I think we both have around the relegation areas. So 2 teams with 2 different mentalities. I think this could be a close game, and I think both teams would like at least 1 win.
Well, let's start with Rogue. I think that's a great place to start. They will be the underdogs here. I think that's pretty easily spoken. But Rogue is a team that houses a few players with an extreme past. We're going to be diving into that a little bit later. What else can Rogue bring to the table here?
I mean, they do have some intriguing players. Obviously, GMD being the guy coming in from French Canadians is an interesting prospect. Hasn't had the greatest start to Pro League. Probably the less or least impressive player from their side so far. Vice has been a player that's been shaping up to do pretty nice things. Honestly, we've seen him in previous teams as well in North America, kind of being, in that spot for a pretty up-and-coming NA talent. So cool to see what he's going to be able to do throughout this season. Obviously, Cadian. I know Cadian as well. He's been having a good stretch of this season, which is it's fun to see. And obviously, they've added 6 to the lineup, which I think is pretty interesting.
Pretty sick addition.
Yeah, no, you make jokes, right? You make puns, but it is actually one of the bigger pickups in terms of like how much of an improvement it's been to their previous members.
I agree completely. He's good. He's real good. I'm just saying it was the perfect time for a punchline.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was solid.
Missed opportunities, missed targets. That's what we're hoping doesn't happen on either side of the equation here. Now, one player we can't skip over is Hiko. What do we know about Hiko?
We know that he used to be a great player. We know he has a big history, especially looking back the Cloud9 days. You were there when it happened. He's a great player and has been a great player. One of the guys who has fallen down just a little bit. We saw him at major semifinals, even at a major final at one point as well. Safe to say that he's nowhere near that level today, neither as an individual or with this Rogue lineup. So I feel he was one of those fallen prospects where he seriously has to consider whether this is his end goal or he's just like skipping by. I had to play with him in Team Liquid, and I feel like he has some great qualities, and he also has some problems, and I guess that goes for all players in the sense where he's a great talent. I think he is one of the guys I would say has potential for much more than he's showing right now. It's all about putting in the work ethic, and I think that's kind of ebbing a little bit out for the good guy Hiko.
I think actually one of the interesting things to look at when you think about what kind of player Hiko was, obviously what kind of positions he played, the play style he had in general, and you mentioned work ethic, right? Obviously, you had GetRight and Hiko being the kind of 2 lurkers from each region, EU and NA. And the lurker, well, I'm not kidding you.
Sorry. I'm done. I swear I'm done. Just forgive me. I'm sorry. Please carry on.
All right. So, yeah, with the blessing from Trace to continue. They obviously had similar play styles, but obviously 2 very different mentalities as to how they approach things. GetRight being notoriously known as one of the hardest workers in terms of how much hours he put in and the work he does around it. And he was able to stay relevant for a longer time, even though the position or like the play style of the lurkers changed significantly from 2014 till what it is today. Today, you don't really see it as much, or those who try to kind of still keep it within their grasp or stranglehold by it. They are not nearly as effective. You see it with Happy, you've seen it with Hiko, you've seen it with GetRight. GetRight's nowhere near as impactful as he used to be. And it's not necessarily because he's completely fallen by the wayside in terms of individual skill, but it's just not the same kind of room for him to have the same opportunities. And I think that hit Hiko harder more so than anyone else.
I agree with that.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It's more like, and we talk about work ethic, like these lurk players have to do more than just lurking today. Like that style is not effective anymore. So like you look at the Magic's boy for Astralis now, he's potentially or realistically a lurk guy. While he do a lot of stuff, he clutches, he lurks, he also entry frag sometimes. You have to be able to be very versatile as a player today in order to have that role. And I think Higo might not, have caught on that yet. It's not too late. Obviously, the guy is not too old yet. I don't even know how old he is. 27, 26.
I think it's his birthday
28.
today, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Not even kidding.
How can you know that?
How old is he?
Because Twitter, I saw
It was yesterday.
congratulations.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
We can take a look.
It's pretty recently, at least.
I'm going to look on the iPad here. You guys carry on.
Yep.
And then I think the real talking point here, I don't know, we can talk a little bit about Hiko, but ultimately, just looking at this Rogue lineup, it's a team that we expect to come out of Mountain Dew League having had a scare, and maybe let's get back into form, guys. We don't want to find ourselves back against the rope again. I think that is ultimately the scariest position they could be in.
I mean, they did upgrade the team, right? They went the same path as NRG. They brought in a significant upgrade in Sick, and as we talked about, he's a sick player. He's a great player, and he showed that in Misfits. And you stop right now.
Yeah, you said it was enough. You said you were
was
done.
Okay, fine.
But to continue, Trace, without being interrupted. Sorry.
Please carry on, Pimp. Tell us everything on your mind.
No, I'm just saying, like, Sig was one of the star players on Misfits, and he did very well throughout that period. And now he's all of a sudden finding himself on an MDL prospect team, who moved into ESL Pro League. So a little bit of a downgrade for him. He sort of looked like, you know what? But that's a continue. I had a fight.
We'll bring it back full circle. I'll take control of the reins. We're gonna crack the horse open right now and head over to NRG. Let's talk about NRG. And what we know about the other team in this matchup, guys. There are two teams, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It does take
but
two.
obviously they have a similar story in terms of like actually creating or bringing in a significant upgrade in terms of just individual skill for themselves. So in many ways, they've gone through the same kind of processes as Rogue did, from a bit of a different perspective in terms of what their final goal is. And one of the reasons for that is having players like Ethan, who they brought in, and obviously Cirque that we saw earlier. And they started off the season really well. Excited to see it. We got to see, obviously, the kind of Ethan show to start things off on the first map. Then Breeze got into his own and got to showcase why he's been talked about as being one of the most interesting talents. Not necessarily the most explosive, but one of the most well-rounded players, really, of the kind of new era in NA, and that's really exciting to see.
And one of the things that's especially interesting about this NRG lineup is the team composition. I feel it's one of the few NA teams where you can see each player has a purpose on the team. They make sense. You have Dabs as being the Ingram leader, you have Cirque, the AVP star player, you have Fuckley as the backbone of the team, and you have this Breeze and
Ethan,
and Ethan as the star rifles. It makes sense, for this team, and I think that goes a long way when you look at their opponents. Like Rogue, like some of the other teams they're fighting against. This team actually has a purpose, and the players has a purpose in each respective role. And the question is if they're good enough to actually elevate their level to get to a top 6 spot, or at least up there.
And we've seen already the effectiveness that Ethan has had within this lineup. This guy's a monster. He was destroying last night.
Yeah.
And going into tonight, it's cool when you have two riflers that make sense and it actually works out for them. Because otherwise, this whole 2-rifle setup that you're talking about is... How many teams do you know like that, though?
100.
100 teams. Well, Ethan, a fragger in his own right, seemingly coming into his own here at NRG, again, of CLG fame, I suppose I could say, and uncross my arms and be professional about this. But nonetheless, Ethan, a great pickup, a great addition to this NRG lineup. And going forward into this matchup against Rogue, do we have any clear-cut favorites?
I think it's fair to say that NRG are our favorites going into this. Again, we aren't necessarily saying that Rogue are going to be a bottom 3 team this season. They could have the potential to kind of duke it out and play for that 9th to 7th spot, I guess, and remain safe, with a comfortable margin. But, I would say that there is a bit of a gap between the two teams, at least from what they've showcased so far. Because we've seen Rogue, even though they've gotten off to an okay start of the season, it's been very up and down.
Yeah, I'd echo that sentiment. I have NRG, as the clear favorites. As again, like if we had to pick a game today that I would predict be 1-1, it'll be this one. I think there's a decent.
You love the 1-1s.
I love the 1-1s.
Yeah.
But there's something about online games and ESL Pro League in general where teams, who are not evenly matched in a best of 3 usually plays 1-1 for some reason because they can prepare for these maps. They know the maps in advance. We do as well. And the fact that they can prepare and sit down and as said, we use this argument for a lot of these teams, but in fact, it's just how it is. This is their Champions League. This is their main purpose of their lives, may I say. Rogue is playing this
Not
league.
for your competitive life, but your entire life.
For your entire life. This is
all they
and breathe
have.
Counter-Strike, right? And this is their Champions League. This is what they play for, and this is what they're getting paid, for being decent Counter-Strike players. So they have to show up, they have to be prepared, and that's why I think so many teams are bringing in a little bit of an extra level in terms of how we normally rate them, which is also why I think we see a lot of games end 1-1. So I'm going to put my head on the block and say it's going to be a 1-1.
You didn't have to do it yet.
No, but I did it.
Okay, but he did.
It's making
And
your
that
job
guy,
easy.
that guy right there, he's something else. You don't want to mess with that guy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rosters in case you're unfamiliar. We do have those up and in front of you, and this is Inferno. That is where we'll be playing our first map between Rogue and NRG. Vice, Hiko, Sick, Katie, and GMD from the Rogue side. Breeze, Ethan, Fugly, Cirque, and Daps over on NRG.
Knowing it is Inferno, right? Who should we look after for? I would say probably the two
Cirque,
AVP players.
always.
Yeah, Cirque and Cadian. Inferno is not the map in particular that allows the AVP players to be very effective. So it's going to be interesting to see, can Cirque actually find a way to be effective on Inferno and so go for Cadian? Can he find a way to be effective on Inferno? Both known for being decent riflers as well. That could come into use now. So I would keep an extra eye on both those players, because they're going to be key part for the teams.
Especially on the T side as well, because I think the most prominent operators in the world, obviously bit of a jump from necessarily these players to a Guardian, a Kenny. So even they struggle to make the op actually work on the T side of Inferno. But obviously with not necessarily going up against the same opposition as FaZe or G2 does on a daily basis, you would actually see them having opportunities to do so. And we know that both of them are fairly flexible and mobile operators who are not necessarily afraid of taking these close quarter combats and so on. So that should be a really fun matchup to watch. And I think we actually might get a fair amount of head-to-heads, which is not normally the typical style of how it plays out when we see two snipers because they have different play styles. But I think that it actually might work out that way.
Makes for great games, though.
Yeah.
What's with the smile, Pimp? Something seems a little disingenuous there, but
I'm just enjoying life. Isn't that okay?
Everything
Most
goes.
he gets to see his boy Katie,
Everybody
always shines up there.
Everybody's hunky-dory around here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk. Let's go ahead and bring in our friends over here. We can have just a little bit of a discussion. I don't even know if I'm supposed to leave it to you guys quite yet, but Jason and Harry, guys, are you ready to kick it into overdrive for these last two maps?
Yes, I am, and I'm excited. I like NRG. I think they're one of the exciting North American teams, so that's gotten me feeling sprightly this morning. Evening, wherever you're from.
Wherever you're from, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, guaranteed.
It's a really good point, Trace.
It is. All right, see you later.
Doing good?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I did get to have a little nap, like some of us did. But I'm feeling all right. I'm looking forward to this matchup as well. One of the reasons I'm more excited is because it gives us I think it's going to give us a good understanding of where some of these teams now start to even out. Like a good benchmark is what I'm kind of putting this game up to.
Okay.
Just because, we've seen all of the more unknown quantities play versus either one of these teams. And so for me, at least, it's going to help me kind of figure out where they lie and help give predictions looking into the future. Right?
Yeah, I think certainly for NRG, I think this is a game. Actually, I disagree entirely with Pimp. I think this is going to be like a 2-0. I think it's going to be a complete blowout. Don't think we're going to be seeing those 1-1s. I hate those as well, by the way. I like the 2-0s. And I think there's too much talent on the NRG team to really, to really lose some of these. So I'm expecting to see a very big performance out of some of the young stars. Rogue, I don't think quite has what it takes. I saw them at MDL LAN. Wasn't anything that's going to blow your socks off, but still have some cool talent. Just don't think it can stack up here. It is going to be Inferno for this first match, which is going to be quite cool, as we heard the desk talk about. 3-1 for Rogue, 2-0 on it for NRG, as you can see there in the graphic. And we're going to be kicking things off. And yes, it was Hiko's birthday just yesterday, so happy belated to one of the greatest clutch players in Counter-Strike global offensive history. Some incredible highlights from that guy over the years. And hopefully he gets to celebrate with a win, although I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, after what we saw from NRG yesterday, I was very impressed. I think that this roster has some potential. And, I mean, they kind of just decimated Splice just the other day.
Yeah, that was a spanking, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Rogue, meanwhile, when they played Splice, I think they split the series 1-1, if I recall. The map they won being Mirage, and I think they might have actually lost on Inferno, but I don't, I'm not too sure about that second point. But point is, yeah, they did definitely split the series. So,
well, we'll see how they do here. Pistoron is live, and here's that peek from window, as we see so frequently. Great trade from Sick, but Fugly's going to keep up the pressure, and Sick's not ready for that one. So a 2-for-1 trade. Also takes away map control on the A side of the map, which is pretty huge. Smoke goes down for Ethan. They're going to have to go right through it. Pop flash. He is blind. He does also have Cirque here waiting. Just hiding. Needs to cause a distraction. Needs to live if possible. Cirque, he gets caught off guard by how fast they got up, but he's got 1 kill. Bomb goes down, and Cirque's still alive here. Now has to reload. Vice trying to hunt him down, but it's not going to happen. Daps with the kill is already at this B bomb site, and it's Cadian. In a 1-on-2. Hiding over towards Ruin. No kits picked up. Peeking out. Diffuse is not being stuck, and Cadian's going to wrap around. The noise gets him off the bomb, and now they're going to stick it with the kit, in fact. And there it is. It's a win for Fugly. Even if Cadian did win that battle, the timing would have been close.
Yes, that's the pistol round locked in for NRG. They're going to go 1-1 early on. A chance now to grab a second round, keep those stats nice and inflated, and also get those bank accounts building some cash with these SMGs. They don't have too long a grace period, though. That bomb plant did come in the previous, so Rogue are going to be buying up into the next round. This one, just a chance to do a bit of damage here. Sick has the Deeg. Smoke up on GMD and a flash for Cadian. Combined with a couple of PT-50s mean that they can look to make an explosive play somewhere, but already Daps, he's posted himself up at the top of Banana, and I don't see him letting them slide on by anytime soon.
Rogue is taking this very cautiously. Everyone's sitting far, far back towards T-spawn. Maybe trying to hit a timing, maybe just talking things over for the next gun round, using this as an opportunity to make sure everyone's on the same page, but just about to pass the minute mark. Maybe they didn't get properly warmed up, so wanted to run around the map just a little bit more.
Well, they're going to start to creep up Banana here. Looks like they have finally made their mind up where they wanted to head. And the only issue is they haven't put any pressure on here, so Daps and Ethan still have a decent utility spread between them. Cirque started to rotate around as well. There's only 30 seconds left, and he's actually changed his mind. They're going to flash themselves through, start to try and commit in to this site. Daps now emerges and starts to mop them up. He does actually lose his teammate. He has to be quite careful, but remains in control. 3 kills for him. NRG, they're going to be on to a second round. But now that buy comes in for Rogue, and it's not going to be perfect, but it does mean they can get rifles on everyone. Cadian's going to have either glass cannon or, but I don't see him going for it this early on. Yeah, it's just going to be the extra utility. Someone has to pick it up.
It does feel like someone made some kind of a, I don't know, maybe not mistake, but you know, having one smoke for the entire time. Someone made a purchase that maybe they shouldn't have. Cirque has the AWP, which could spell the ruin. Might be why they slowed things down. Cadian, he has the only really piece of utility that can block off Cirque with that AWP, so we're gonna have to use that one perfectly. All the way up towards top mid, holding an angle is GMD. That's pretty ballsy, knowing the kind of skill set that Cirque has. So we'll see what the plan is from Rogue. They're gonna have to straight up win duels at some point, though.
Yeah, they don't have the utility. As you pointed out, they have only got 3 flashes and that one smoke already going out from Cadian. Goes ahead and throws it over there towards long. See, imagine this play has to come in out towards this A bomb site because they've used pretty much all the utility they have already. It hasn't triggered a rotation. Dap still lies in wait up on Banana. That smoke already going to start to dissipate that they threw down, so that's going to have no effect in this take. There are 4 players here for NRG as well, and Daps, he's going to be very, very quick, hot on their heels as he starts to rotate on round. He's actually going to go ahead for the long rotate. Fugly does claim the first, and ooh, this MP9 doing damage. How's it been allowed to take itself too? And that will be the round going the way of NRG. They keep it clean, and the SMGs are getting the majority of the frag.
Yeah, that's quite an easy round for NRG, and I mean, just weird buy in that third round. You save up for it, but you actually don't have a whole lot of utility, as well as you do smoke off towards small pit, and then you wait for that smoke to clear to pop that flash. So by the time the smoke clears, you're executing onto the bomb site, and you actually don't have anything blocked off. So Curious usage from Rogue, to say it lightly. And obviously now a great opportunity for NRG to build up a whole lot of money. The app's going to bring Cadian down to 46 HP. And again, everyone lined up towards balcony. No flash this time. It's coming in late. There it is. It's actually pretty decent, all things considered. They've gotten themselves into this site. Fugly, tough job for him to do, but he does find that first headshot and a follow-up. The bomb has been brought down and Cirque around the edge of the smoke. Chimes in with the last. So, quick 4-0.
NRG, they're looking good. The buyers can be coming back in now for Rogue, and this is where they have the potential to try and put a stop to the pain train that has been NRG right now. Paul's going to be called on in. Not too sure whether this is a tactical or a technical timeout.
Sure, we'll find out soon. Now, here's the scary thing for Rogue, is Cadian has 4 kills, and then 2 players with 1 and 2 players with 0. So, I mean, not only is money building up, but even just the fact that nobody in your team is really having a whole lot of success isn't going to bode well. You need more than just one player to be able to provide the openings for you. And obviously, we haven't seen anyone really get started. So they're going to have to fix that issue as well. A couple rounds, they've tried to use that one pop flash to barrel out of the A-holes, and it hasn't worked out well. But now, finally, the first buy where we're going to see them with a full kit of smokes, Molotovs as well, plenty of flashbangs. So the whole playbook is open for Rogue. And look at Cirque. He hunts down an opening kill, not afraid whatsoever.
Yeah, he's already looking very confident here for NRG. Yeah, peeks down through mid, doesn't spot anyone going aggressive or watching for that aggression, and then uses it to find the frag onto Sick down in alt mid. That's the bad advantage taken here for NRG, and you can already see Rogue, as a result, they've pulled on back most of their guys out from mid. They've left Vice there just to hold for any aggression, but the remaining players are stacked up here outside of this B bomb site. They have got 2 smokes, so they can smoke off Coffins and the cross, but Ethan's boosted up. Daps as well, going to be holding close. And they haven't gone with anything. They're just walking on in. Daps does go down. Now the smoke falls for CT. They don't check for Ethan, but the flash allows GMD to make it alive. Smoking off Coffins now. This dry take into the site has done good things for them thus far. Damage exchanged in with Ethan once again. Rotation slowly coming around from NRG. They have to try and find something quite quickly here.
Plenty of utility, though. 2 Molotovs, one being thrown out back left. There's not a whole lot of players in the site. Actually, that's a great pop flash. Cadian's going to get aggressive with it. Can't find the kill. Molotov comes out late, though, and that's going to slow things down. GMD in a tough spot, 11 HP. Pop flashing up for a teammate. Great shot from Vice, and I think this has been held off. Late push in from NRG, and they're going to get all but 1 in the out. Certainly now the bomb blows up. Plenty of money for NRG, even with all players dying. It's Rogue who are going to hurt very much from that as well. But just a quiet walk in towards the B bomb site, and that's the first round for Rogue. Here comes the reinvestment, though, and NRG isn't going to be hurting whatsoever. We're already seeing 3 MAC-10s purchased for Rogue, a Galil onto Sick, and AK on Vice.
And that is not the buy you want to see from a team that just won the previous round. That was how bad the money was.
I imagine they're just going to rush something. GMD and Cadian don't have any utility, just 2 nades. They're going to nade up at the top of Banana and just rush with it. Daps gets taken out by it, so far so good. But actually, Ethan with 2 quick kills. Those MAC-10s not doing the job as quickly, but an entry into the bomb site.
Yeah, Cirque's going to be the first man here. Easy rotating around to join him, but pressure's definitely on. They've upgraded those MAC-10s into the M4s that were on Daps and Ethan. Plenty of utility, plenty of kits still up for NRG, but they have to be a bit quicker here. Time was the real problem for them in that previous round. Time's already getting very low as well. They gotta move quickly here, and that missed Molotov out into Emo might have just facilitated this round for Rogue. Fugly gets caught off guard. Cirque's going to start to fade away. Breezy goes down on the defuse, and Cirque, they are getting a hunting for him. Vice trying to catch up to him desperately. Won't be able to. It's going to be a second round now for Rogue. The AWP saved. Now for NRG, you imagine they just have to grit their teeth here and go for the eco.
They could buy behind this off because you have Breeze, you can get up an M4, and yeah, the UMP is going to come out on Fugly, so they're going to fight for one more round yet. I'm actually pretty surprised that MAC-10 strategy worked in the last round. I mean, the double nade worked perfectly, didn't it? It found Daps over by the sandbags. They're going to just do it all over again. And these MAC-10s, there's some unarmored opponents here. Ethan with the CZ is going to miss almost everything. That UMP has got to do something. Cadian down to 15 HP. Ethan does get one, but there's too much. And Daps, somehow, none of them are falling. I do not know how neither of them died throughout all that. Didn't even take a whole lot of damage, all things considered, despite the struggles to get kills. And Sick is the only one left. No kills for Rogue. As NRG is back on top. 5-2. This has been a weird game so far. The rounds that Rogue have won largely with those MAC-10s. AK is being purchased up by the Rogue side. 2 CZs as well.
Yeah, it still feels like we haven't really seen either one of these teams that would... So both of these teams going into like a round where they each have a full buy. It's another sort of weird back and forth. Rogue investing what they can. And that seems to be the case with Rogue in all of these rounds. They're quite limited in terms of their utility. They do have 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs and a nade. Or 3 smokes rather. 4. I'm just blind to smokes apparently. But there you go, it's all good.
Tricky things, those smokes.
They are ever elusive, especially for Rogue right now. This is the round where they actually have quite a few to work with. But once again, it's this foothold from Daps up towards the top of Banana. He's holding it all on his lonesome, just jump peeking the half wall for the information. That allows him to have a 4th man over on A, but that flash rains in. Daps going to start to fall back, and now Ethan rotates around to try and join him.
Actually, Cirque going to fall away, pushed back by Cadian. Got to be careful how much more he pressures. He has pulled Ethan away from Daps, though, and Daps is playing Anchor, and probably, in terms of skill ceiling, Daps was going to be hard-pressed here to win some of these battles. Ethan now on the rotate back. I do think that's a very curious decision to keep Daps as the Anchor, but it's worked so far decently, and Ethan is going to be cut off by smokes. So we'll have to push through that, and Daps has a job to do. There's GMD running through flames by himself, and Ethan now, he has arrived. 2 quick kills, holding down the trigger, and it's Vice. All that's left of this B bomb site, although Cadian's still doing a little bit of work. The bomb will get planted, or will be attempted to be planted, and now Cadian gonna go down at the end as well. One last headshot with that UMP, and M4 salvaged. Even a shot into the dead body. 6-2, no more money for Rogue.
Yeah, so finally they're just gonna have to relinquish a round, admitting the defeat in terms of their economy. 4 PT-50s, flash on Cadian. This to me screams a fast play, and I'm curious to see if they maybe head over here towards this A bomb site, but no, it's going to be toward mid. Cirque is there just to slam down the gauntlet, and actually they're going to push down everywhere. Looks to be a slaughter down here in mid. Rogue, they're all dead, and this round took seconds. It is going to be a 7th up on the board for NRG. The dominant CT side thus far, and perhaps an attempt here at the bonus round for them with these MP9s in play.
They haven't been pressured too much. I mean, it's kind of a weird T-side we've seen from Rogue so far, where they actually seem like pretty hesitant to spread apart as a team. They seem like very much convinced to stay huddled up, like they don't have a whole lot of faith in individuals to be able to win fights across the map. So we haven't seen any real defaults out of the T-side. And again, just 3 to 4 players going to be walking up mid. Smoke is in its place, and it looks like they want to come right through it. And here it comes. Pop Flash going to be coming from way far back, probably completely blind. Cirque caught off guard by it as well, and they get nothing done. That has worked beautifully, but they still have to go through Breezy. He's only got an SMG, so it should be able to get 1 or 2 kills, but Cadian checking that exact angle. Beautiful stuff, and if you're NRG, you just are going to have to flat out save on this one. Going to be some frustration in chat, I think, about that kind of Pop Flash through the smoke. Can't argue with the results, though.
No, you most definitely cannot. Looks to be a pretty clean round for Rogue. You imagine Ethan isn't going to get too much more success over here towards apartments. So They go ahead and answer back with one. KD is now going to have that AWP as well. The first time we've seen him have one. So excited to see what he can get done with that.
That's a really good point. Yeah, we haven't even seen that yet on the T side, and we talk a lot about some of the struggles that operators can have on the T side, but certainly see how it goes at the very least early on. Rogue in a pretty decent position, all things considered. It's 3-7. We do have some more money to burn through, but there's still plenty of rounds for them to get a couple more on the board.
Yeah, and keeping 4 players alive for them there was very crucial. You know, Vice, he'd be eco into the next round, or 4 spies rather, if they lose this, but the rest of the guys can scrape a bye together. And it's really the first time we've seen Rogue in that sort of situation where they can actually sustain a bye. And that comes on the back of 4 players staying alive in the previous round. Now into this one, Ethan and Daps, this time looking like they wanted to try boost on over, but that utility reigns in, and it is enough to turn them against that idea. In the meantime, Rogue, a couple of players over in towards apartments, and Smoke now going to rain over to try and nullify Cirque, which it will.
Another 4-1 setup. Hiko all on his own towards the base of Banana, and a lot of space here for NRG to work with. There's Fugly with a peek. That Paul's player not going to pounce quite yet. Molotov is out, and actually it splits up the attack a little bit. Now the bomb running back over towards Cirque's hands. He's going to be forced away as well, but utility is being used by NRG astoundingly well. It slowed down this hit so much, bought plenty of time. Still no rotation from that B bomb site. Kind of curious there. Now comes the hit. Great delayed pop flash. Breezy completely blinded pit. Taken down for free. Fugly can barely just in time, but Cirque's still alive with the op. Cadian pushing up, and actually it's going to be Sick to the side, who's able to take him down to 2-on-2, and op is going to be in the site. 1 player flanking for NRG. That's Ethan. Daps has spotted one out in the corner of the pit. They're going to have to try and pinch this bomb site. No utility for the CT side. No way for Ethan to get into the site to wrap. It would have to be a missed shot from Sick. There's the positioning. There's the kill from Daps. It's a 1-on-2. Sick finds that, and Daps needs to push forward. There's still plenty of time in the bomb timer, but needs Sick to commit to this. Tapping the bomb. Sick now going to swing around, and he has the angle, has the headshot. A 4th for Rogue. Somehow managing to pull off that clutch. Really well done from Rogue on a delayed hit. That delayed pop flash as well, completely blinding the crossfire setup in lane.
Yeah, and the problem now for NRG is it's over here towards A. It seems to be where Rogue are having almost all of their success. Early on, they favoured that B bomb site after it netted them those first 2 rounds, but since then everything's been coming up Rogue over toward A. And I'm curious to see what NRG are going to do to try and fix this. It feels like the crossfire between the man in pit and the player up on balcony, I think it's Breezy, it isn't actually working out all too well.
Well, it's, I mean, there was some nice utility usage by Rogue, to be fair. If I'm NRG, what I'm basically saying is I would want to like see more aggression on the CT side, just because Rogue is playing like I said, a very condensed style. A lot of 4-1s are coming out, so I mean, it might be harder to notice that in the server, obviously, than it is for us, who get the full view of the map and everything. But you know, if you take banana control, then you can cheat that 4th player back. That previous round, despite all the pressure, no one rotated to help out over towards that B bomb site. So get aggressive somewhere, take Paul's control, take banana control, something along those lines. And it feels like you'll have a great advantage in terms of shrinking down the map. You can have a quick flank in there as well. Maybe the one thing we haven't seen done from NRG is the aggressive defense. Outside of Cirque peeking into alt mid.
I mean, once again here for Rogue, they're already starting to fixate their attention over here towards A. This time, they've rotated things up. Ethan now playing that anchor role over towards the B-bomb site. Daps is the man rotating around. Imagine that's due to him having that UMP. Really the weapon of choice for your anchor. Rogue already pushing down 3 short, and no one really in a spot to keep an eye on. This utility nullifies the man in the site, but it's Breezy in the pit to find himself 2. Cirque's going to drop out 1 more. Fugly still alive inside of the site, and he does manage to find 1 at the end. As him and Cirque lock in an 8th round for NRG.
Yeah, and Rogue going to be back onto a weaker buy as well. That time, the execute comes in, and NRG has plenty of utility to counter it and slow it down. Molotov in towards lane, flashbangs as well. Really slowed that hit down. Allowed Fugly to get a, or not Fugly, it was Breezy to get a couple kills over towards lane before the rest of the Rogue players really were able to make their attack. So back down to pistols, and we can see again much more passive from Rogue, yet to come up the T-ramp, just now going to be doing it. There is 2 flashbangs on Cadian. 1 for Banana to allow them to turn this corner. I imagine 1 will be for the site as they decide to explode in. No smoke though. This round just feels very unlikely. So Daps and Ethan with the chance to really build up the stat sheet. Daps is going to be forced away. They've already got a great angle, but Ethan with a beautiful shot is going to be able to sequence that into 4 in total. Really nice hold from him in a dangerous situation. So 9-4 now. Ethan's at 16-5.
Yeah, Ethan seems to be the man that we're relying on to step up for NRG in a lot of these games.
The youngest of all the daddies, powdering bottoms.
Sure, that's what we'll call it. Yeah, no, he's looking fantastic. He stepped up for them yesterday in the matches versus Splice, and looks to be no exception here. You think he's a very good pickup? Now him and Daps once again look to try and peek in to Banana early on. Daps, not any danger there with that. They're going to boost Ethan over. Oh, maybe not. Mess the boost up a few times, and then they hear the jump, so shots start to rain through. That's enough for NRG. They fall back more passively into this B-bomb site. Rogue stacked up outside. 3 smokes on them, so 1 for the cross and then 1 for coffins. That is going to force Daps to have to take the engagement on his own or make Ethan have to push through. Either one of which isn't ideal for NRG.
Well, here it comes. Pretty standard smokes, a counter smoke as well. GMD going to turn the corner. He's the first dead though. And Daps going to be able to grab 1 with the damage done from Ethan. Still alive. Brought down very low. 16 HP spam through, not connecting from Ethan. And he's just going to keep his life in his own hands. Wait for the retake to come in. There is a flanker, Fugly. He's got 1 player to deal with that top Banana. It's Sick at the car. And look at the HP. Sick and Hiko both just bleeding internally. And there's the peek from Sick, and almost completely blind as Fugly. That might have been a team flash. Vice with 1 kill, but he's got to do so much more. And he's not able to. Now the position of Hiko giving up, and he brings Cirque down low, but can't complete the kill. And continuing to build as NRG 10-4 in this opening half.
Yeah, once again, no money for Rogue. It's been a very, very good CT side for NRG thus far. Now, I was right. This was the one map the Rogue lost to Splice.
Ah, you looked it up, huh?
I did, you know. I wanted to make sure that my facts are on point. My memory served me well. And, yeah, they lost it. Okay, I didn't remember this part. Like 16-6.
Aren't you the resident Splice expert? Isn't that what you coined yourself as yesterday?
Yeah. Kind of packed that all in. I've given up that craft.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows what Splice is doing. Not even Splice themselves. But here we go. Oh, Cirque, he knows what he's doing. That's a nice shot down through mid. Hiko's going to start to push on up. Cirque, well, will actually go down. Fugly resides in the pit. Shot gonna connect before Vice finds him, and now they have to go back for the bomb. Breezy just waits up in apartments. Of course he does. He's gonna let them go for the plant. Rotation comes on through. Rogue must be weary that they site seemed far emptier than usual. That molly gonna burn Hiko out, and he goes down as a result. It all falls onto Vice, and Ethan, well, he kind of steals Breezy's thunder in that retake. All the waiting around doesn't lead to anything.
No, but Breezy does like the, I mean, he steals his thunder. Breezy does like the the really underrated play. Just keeps himself alive, make sure there's 2 fronts for the retake, and also he knows he's got them both inside the bomb site. He knows no one's been in pit. He's been watching for the cross that whole time, so pretty easy knowledge when NRG does eventually rotate over. It seemed to get a bit dicey for NRG at some point early on in the first half, but they ended up very, very strong, and I think Ethan is going to have some incredible stats on this sheet at halftime. He had a beautiful game, a couple big kills there with the CZ. This was a nice hold, that first shot. Beautiful snap over, a tough angle to deal with to get 4 total, but he's been a monster for NRG in these past 2 nights, and this is no different. 19 and 6, 143 ADR.
Yeah, and then you kind of look over at Rogue, and despite having all of these young promising names within the roster, none of them really stepping up to the party. Vice and KD on top of the board right now. I'd love to see a bit more from GMD and Sick. They're usually players who we look to do quite well within this roster, and both of them having their struggles thus far.
Yeah, and I mean, I bring this up every time. I like to. I know Sick probably hates it when I do this, but him and Twist, remember, we're on one of the most promising lineups that NA had for some time. That TSM team that got top 4 in ECS. And how different their 2 career paths have been. Twist hailed as one of the better North American players at the moment, and Sick kind of still fighting it out for his chance at glory. Gets taken out here by Fugly, who's going to continue forward. Not aware someone's to his right, and Hiko's just going to take out 2. It's all on Ethan. He's been the man of the match so far, and he continues it here. 3 quick headshots. No access to the B-bomb site for Rogue, and that should end things. Such a narrow choke point to keep throwing bodies at, and Vice left in a 1-on-2. Ethan going to drop down behind the coffins. This has been such a sick round for him, and he's going to finish it off as well. That brings him up to 23 for those who are counting.
Just what a pistol round from him. Like, that was incredible. I figured there would be no way for NRG to get back into that round. They went into 2-on-4, and then Ethan pulls it back and is able to win it out. Makes the whole thing look easy. You don't even get that worried once he starts just coasting you through that pistol round for NRG. Now, they try to go aggressive early on in mid. GMD's able to pick up Cirque. The trade is there. Oh, Daps has gone down as well. Okay, Hiko in with a second now. Now he's going to make things very interesting. Of course, you know, Hiko used to be kind of one of the household names of North American Counter-Strike.
Yeah, he certainly was. Probably the only name I think that you could really hang your hat on as a North American fan. I think he was, what, the first North American player to be in the HLTV top 20 as well. He's seen better days, but he's still got some games, still got some life left in him. Bomb's gonna go down. He's picked up an AK-47. There's one on Ethan as well, down to 30 HP. He's gonna be inside the bomb site, and Breezy with the Galilin pit. No armor on these 2 CT players, which might spell the end of it. I don't think Breezy spotted them over the flames. There's a pop flash just so he could peek. He does spot 1. Not aware that Hiko has already moved all the way up. Great shot from Breezy. Good reaction, and now Hiko's giving it up, and that's even better. Cadian and Hiko go down. 13-2-4. NRG on the way to a quick victory.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I mean, I would have loved to have seen this map go on a little bit longer, come a bit closer, but right now, Rogue, they aren't throwing too much resistance the way of NRG, and I think this T-side, you know, you kind of imagine, at least I would, that NRG are going to do even better on this T-side if things continue the way that they are, because they can just set the pace. And control when and where these fights happen. At least that's how Rogue are letting them play.
Well, there's a MAC-10, gonna lead the way up mid. Complete control, no one to challenge for it. Cadian left inside the bomb site, and he's way out in the open, and here are the footsteps, and he starts bailing out. And oh, he does win that fight somehow, but nice little 2-tap from Cirque. Bomb gonna go down now, looking like 14-4. Utility being used, and no chance for Rogue to retake this, just coming in to the slaughter. I think on a Breezy, but they've all lined up for him, and he gets all 4.
And now this buy is able to come in for Rogue. Oh, going to be dropped over to Cadian. This is it. They're in with a shot. of making a comeback happen, but it would have to be now. And it really is do or die for Rogue. They lose this 15-4 in favor of NRG. And it will be 4 Spires till the end of the game. And,
yeah.
NRG, they've kept the Mac 10 up on Daps. They're going to go for the bonus round. 2 of these players don't have head armor, so that Mac 10 is going to be laughing.
Well, you'd hope so. That or it'll just be a nice little distraction. 4 players in mid, though. This is a nice stack up here for Rogue. Ethan's going to be the first one to peek out towards the porch. Sees nothing. Vice boosted up. There's another flashbang. Sick, though. Wins that battle, and there's the Mac 10 down. I don't think they'd be ready for the follow-up, but they are ready for Hiko. And now Vice finally pouncing up. Breezy can get this kill quickly. Could have had himself a one-on-one. Smoke goes down. Flashbang up mid. He's going to grab the bomb. He's just going to keep walking forward. And actually, he can book it all the way towards the B bomb site, which is open. Although Cadian is reading that play. He's walking as well. So Breezy will give up his location. Ooh, and just very, very narrowly misses it. The plant's going to go down. Can he get out of the way? No. Cadian's ready for it. And he did have a good angle. So the defuse is going to come in, and Rogue just barely holds on. They have lost 3 players, though. Cadian's letting his teammates spend plenty of time looking for extra grenades on some of the dead bodies. He knows there's a smoke at this B bomb site. Ooh, that was risky. Almost shot it away. So 5-14. But still going to be pretty hurt on money is this Rogue defense.
Yeah, they're by no means out of the woods just yet. In fact, they are still firmly surrounded by trees, if you want to really track that metaphor that much longer. As they buy on down, the reset's going to be looming, and NRG, they've got another buy up here. So this is where Rogue kind of decide, do they want to start the comeback, or are they just going to bottom out of this match? Because whoever wins this resets the other team's economy into the next round, and it's a very important one. Cirque has already kick-started it, finding a frag down onto Cadian. That's actually opened up the B-bomb site. He goes rotating around and will beat NRG to that site.
That was the most, like, casual run up and take a shot I've seen in a long time. Just straight up peeks the angle, finds the kill quickly. Could do it to Hiko here as well. There are 3 players at this position for Rogue. They're going to get right around the Molotov. Daps leading the way. Vice going to drop one in late. There's clearing the position. Hiko goes down, not ready for it. And Sick going to try and run through. He's able to find one, but traded immediately. And I don't even think Vice can really fight for this. It would have to be a great double kill. He comes around the smoke just as it disappears. Fugly has the bomb out in the open. Ethan needs to find this down to 8 HP. And Vice is somehow going to survive, but still a tall task ahead of them. That flank through CT spawn is so brutal, and yeah, the bomb's just going to give it up. He's just going to bail out, go back down Banana, back towards the A site, because they already know Breezy has everyone from Rogue cut off.
And as these rotations start to come back through from Rogue, well, they even expect Breezy, who, I mean, as time ticks down, it becomes more and more likely that someone has pushed this far up. And yeah, for Rogue, I mean, just going to be a save by the looks of it. They don't want to risk giving this away. They, retaking the A-bomb site in a 2-on-3 just isn't likely, especially given the time it would have taken to rotate in. So they concede the match point round to NRG in favor of keeping these 2 rifles into the next round.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do here. This is about the only decision they can make. It's not necessarily a good one. It never feels good, but it's all they've got. So they'll bring these weapons into the next round. The only 2, well, I mean, maybe not the only 2, but their money is going to be pretty beat up. And actually, Breezy's going to hunt them down. The reaction, that's great. GMD not able to find that kill. Vice now. Not even a matter of trying to go for that kill. It's a matter of trying to hide, and Breezy's not going to be able to find him. It was close, though, at the end. And yeah, look at that. The op is going to be passed over, but no one... I mean, 2,800 is about the most that anyone on Rogue has, so it's going to be SMGs, it'll be CZs, maybe a Deagle. But it's desperate times. NRG looking to take map 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as awful as you can get. At least they've got the AWP carried forward onto Cadian. He did go down early on in the previous round, but this time he's a bit more conservative. He rushed down through Banana. Ethan's quick to punish it, and now there is only one man left there in the form of Vice. Top of the board right now for Rogue, although not saying too much as everyone is grouped up pretty close together on that scoreboard. Cadians come rotating in with the AWP. So the only two weapons they have are both now sit over here toward Banana. And Daps is just going to be holding it.
That shot rings out. Cadian didn't take too much damage, and Vice is right on the other side of this wall. NRG going to go right at the AWP, so the rotation away from that. Double kill for Vice. No one cleared the corners. No one expected him. Fugly going to push through it. Great headshot. It had to be quick as well, although because he's the only one here, Breezy is over towards A. He's going to hit the pause button. Breezy again going to lead the way up to the alternate bomb site, provide the escape route, and GMD. Can he get around the corner in time? Just in time. Sneaks in. Still so much danger, though. So these two will be grouped up, and they can wrap around on this bomb site. And there's really no good answer for GMD inside the bomb site. He's got to take a risk somewhere, and as soon as they walk around the corner, actually they give up their position. That's a bit confusing. GMD can get into a better position. Could find one onto Fugly, and he does, but not the second. Breezy in a one-on-one. He will get the bomb planted just under 10 seconds remaining in a one-on-one.
Yeah, Cadian comes rotating round the bit of Danish representation that we have in this roster. You can almost feel just Pim looking on, hoping he can clutch this one out. Time's ticking down. Cadian has to push in quite fast. He doesn't have the kit to work with. Breezy going to get spotted out. Cadian will find it, and that is going to be a 6th round for Rogue. They want to try and make this comeback a reality.
Feels very anticlimactic, that 1 versus 1. I don't know why, but good find from Cadian. That's not easy to come into that A bomb site and win a one-on-one after that much time after the bomb was planted. Plenty of time for NRG, though, to still win this one out 15-6, so they're going to take a round of a half-buy, CZ's armor with that plant. They know the money is low as well, so all the kills matter even if they can't close out the round. Interestingly enough, there are 0 kits on the Rogue side. Oh god, looked like they wanted to do a B rush. Threw their own Molotov into the pathway, though. An ensuing one comes out from Rogue, so everything is halted. But that presence gave away a lot of the game. 3rd player is here at the B bomb site for Rogue, which means they're perfectly positioned. There's a boost up and everything, but Higo can't get a single kill. GMD combines with Sick for one, although once again it's traded, and actually somehow NRG has made their way into the bomb site. Just CZs, and they've eliminated 3 players. It's now Vice and Cadian with an AWP that have to retake this, and like I said, there's no kits.
Yeah, 2 versus 3. A situation that really never should have been, and Rogue, they're having to retake this one. This is a force-bought NRG for what could be the last in the half. Cadian's the first man in, starts to head on in with the AWP. Does have his teammate in tow, but he's going to get spotted out by Breezy, and Vice cannot stand the test of time. Breezy doubles down, and that is going to be NRG to win out map number 1. They look dominant. They managed to win it on the back of a force buy. They can't be disappointed with that.
No, Ethan had another big game, which really spurred this team forward, but the young powerhouses, Ethan and Breezy, both solid performances. So fair play to NRG, who we saw yesterday looked very, very good. We're going to go to a quick break. In return, Pimp's going to tell us why his best friend Cadian couldn't win the match.